Hi everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here and thanks for your lovely comments and feedback and support for the channel. I really do appreciate it. Welcome new subs. And there was something I wanted to speak to and I've forgotten it, but let's see if it comes in. Okay, so I can feel the energies are kind of changing. So I sat and tuned in, and my message to spirit was, come one, come all, with the highest intention for the collective. And this card flew out of the deck, and it's the card of assistance with access. And it says, coming in on the 10, on that beautiful initiatic 10, it is necessary to ask for and accept help in order to receive it. Okay. So that's, let's make that the leading message and we'll pop that up there. And so there's just a couple of cards on the table, and what they're speaking to really is let go. It's a really gentle but powerful let go now. Let go now. It's like, let go now, we've got you. Because the two following messages are, you were enough to begin with. You are already enough, and that's going to challenge the lack programming or any remnants of that lack programming. I mean, look at this passionate red, just beautiful, wings open, tuning in and tuning out, shutting out the noise of the world to tune in to the subtle energies, to the meta, to spirit. And that's coming in with the child and radical curiosity. And how many different ways can I see this thing? Is a teapot just a teapot? Or is it a foot bath for really tiny people? Or is it a plant pot? Seeing as if for the first time, every time. So again, that's a real challenge to let go of the experience, to come into the initiation, into the unknown. Yeah, there's like this bubbling up of dreams that might have got buried in the past or given up on, or just dreams that you've become exhausted with, but nothing is wasted. And when we open up to subtle energies and start reading the interconnectedness of life, then we start maybe seeing a different picture, maybe understanding what we already knew in a different way, in a rebirthed way. Yeah, and the underlying energy speaks to broken dreams, or dreams that we thought we were never deserving of. It's never going to work. So there's this, it's almost like there's a retrograde of some old cynical energies. And just to bring them up and allow them to move through so that you can rebirth something and see your world in a radically different way. Because sometimes that's where we miss the blessings, is where we get stuck in some old lack thinking, poverty thinking that speaks to self-worth, where we forget to see ourselves as this and whatever the masculine equivalent of this is. Tens and twos, very sensitive energy, but there's a lot of fire coming through it. So it's activating the sensitivity, procreative forces of life. Oof. Wow. Okay. Only you can accept or reject your dream. So again, it's bringing home that which we think is out there that ruined it all, home, to find the inner fox. You remember how the fox came out in the last reading? That was really coming out as that imposter voice. Stick with me, love. Want to buy a watch? That kind of, wow, well. Just stare at this image because this is the first time this card has been out. This is the Lantern Oracle. So I've been speaking recently to the gatekeeper and finding and working with a gatekeeper in spirit, or finding the inner gatekeeper, the part of you that is the part of you that sits at 0 point. There's no wobble there. And sometimes until we can cultivate this within, then we call for assistance. And we call in a gatekeeper because we're going to go and venture out into the cosmos, into the multidimensional energies. And there might be a little fear of, what if I get lost? I'm just a child. I'm not safe. Well, radical curiosity is how children play, and it's no different. Acknowledge, assert, and protect what is right for you. It's that 0 point, knowing that it's the light within, the seat of the light within. Your soul knows it. I'm going to put her up there to protect the whole reading and bring that down here. Yeah. I'll put that there. And now I'm drawn to the archetype deck. I want to keep this very much in the kind of easy to grab layer. I know I went up quite high with that last reading. Let's just put those there and focus the question. Okay, so which archetypes can we think about rewiring? Which archetypes can we look at in a radically different way? Speaks to which archetypes are keeping us stuck. I'll let the deck decide. Okay. Ooh, weird. I want to go to these two that came out before I formed a question. Come to those in a minute. Right. Let's just flick through these and see what they are. 4, 5, 6, 7. In a 7 year. Excuse me. Got makeup all over my hand. All right. So this first card is speaking to how can we uplift what we already know? How can we see ourselves as an alchemist? And yeah, okay. I'm just being reminded that one of the first presencings of my inner alchemist was when somebody else watched me cook. And I cook as an alchemist. I don't tend to follow recipes. If I do, I tend to change them because I can taste smell in my head. I have an amazing palate. And so I use alchemy and I let the ingredients speak to me. It's a unified field of conscious creation. And that might sound a bit grandiose because I'm just baking a cake, but it sounds grandiose because I'm bringing it into form. It's something I've done blindly since I was a kid and I learned to cook. Never really put it into descriptive format. And so what that did was that connected me to the archetype of the alchemist. And oh, right, okay. And then I started learning about how I use energies to transmute shadow. So I use alchemy, okay. And oh, I see that in all of the work I do. So do you see, nothing is wasted and it can sit blindly under the surface. And just because we're not aware of it doesn't mean we're lacking in it. It might be there, hidden in plain sight. Brilliant. Oh, brilliant. So yeah, Where can you find the alchemist within you in whatever walk of life you are in right now in this moment? Alchemist. Wow, that's done it for itself. Isn't that lovely? The gambler. Willingness to follow your intuition, even when others doubt you. Wow, that's so lovely. Look at the picture. That's fantastic. I think they should redesign the Two of Swords card. What's that? Stumbling through the dark. And January is going to feel a lot like that. There's a lot of reviewing energy, and it's in the house of Capricorn. It's going to feel like the world is standing still, but Jupiter in Aries is going to feel like my fire is on fire and I want to take action. But use the retrograde energy, because within the first quarter or just after the first quarter, we've got all planets direct. Sit. Willingness to follow your intuition. And there's a dare in there. Yeah, really taking action on the intuition, even if the action is to sit and reveal something that's hidden under the surface within you, and just allow that to move through and get birthed. Gambler, take a gamble on your intuition. Okay. Warrior. Strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Heroicism, stoicism, self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Okay. Good messages. Strong messages. Speaks to the strong message from within. Speaks to that 0 point of knowingness within you. The warrior speaks from the soul. And how can you stand in your inner warrior in this energy? That's radically different. I love that. I'm bumbling around in the dark, but I know it and I'm staying with it. Okay. It's like I'm going to defend my own cause. I'm going to check my motivation in that cause. Yeah, and I'm going to bring in the shadow attribute of the warrior, because it speaks to trading ethics for victory at any cost and calling it warrior. Okay, yeah. Indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. So that speaks to when I said you've got to check your motivation in what part of you is warrioring. And if I stand in warrior, defending something that I've received, a message that I've received, what's my motivation in that? Who am I serving? What am I serving in that? What light am I bringing to the world? So we're talking about service, we're talking about the humanitarian, we're definitely talking about Aquarius. Go and meet your inner warrior. Here we are. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll bring that one in. This might be how January feels to you. You might have a completely different experience, but certainly the astrology and the energy I'm picking up on is there's almost a tension point between this resting hermit, re-looking, reviewing at this. How do I ask for help? Who is my gatekeeper? Where do I feel safe? Speaks to base chakra. I'm already enough. Can I live with that? Can I birth that? Where is my radical curiosity? Where do I not judge? Where do I just hold myself open? You need a big cave to do that. And January is a big cave, Capricorn, Earth, big cave. So holding that hermit energy, what's coming out is radical curiosity, but it's coming through the student. And how can we relearn where we rescue, where we overgive, and where we vampire others? And there's a lot of this rescue of vampire energy around at the moment, because as we start to come out of our cave and we realize where our light is coming from, it's coming from within, and we shine that light, then those that are starving for light will appear. And how do we deal with that? And if we're still in any kind of old adapted child, parentified child, we might feed that because that's doing good in the world. But if the motivation isn't that there is an endless source of light, abundant fecundity, if it's lack and I get tired when that comes into my field, that's your checkpoint. That is the litmus test. Always, when you're in the energy of another, check your energy and adjust. Stay in student, adjust. And equally, know when and what you're feeding from. It's a real radical, very clean, it's very clean, but it's going to kick up some emotion. And it's okay for you to feel your feelings. Okay, all right, let's go back to this one. So when somebody around you or close to you is in their feelings, the old way, in the olden days, is to rush in and fix and solve and mend. And there's still tons of that in the system. And I always say to clients, but were you asked for help? No, but I could see they were struggling, but were you asked for help? And we do this 3 or 4 times until they do their own little spin cycle. And until the intellect gets tired, and that's the transmutative process. We'll keep going there. I'll keep holding space. Let's keep going around this revolving door until they quite simply say from their 0 point, no, I wasn't. And then you can see the energy come back. They take that energy back. The system brings the energy back. Okay. It's okay to stand and watch someone else have their feelings. It can be difficult. Can be difficult. Okay. Practice, play with it. Okay. And the 2 that flew out, pioneer and teacher, let's see what they want to bring. With the ending of this massive experience, and the beginning of something new, and I really sense Aries is just going to fly the flag high for us this year with what's going on, with what's going to come with the spring equinox, huge change. Then can we find the pioneer within us? This is not reserved for the great and the good. The pioneer is within us. You pioneered, I could argue, you pioneered your own existence just by being able to manifest into form. Okay. Passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Aquarius. Teacher, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill. Let's look at the shadow of that. Manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and distress. That doesn't really land. How does teacher speak to pioneer? Yeah, okay. It's the schism between, right, okay. The subconscious cannot identify that which it has not already identified. And so we can literally stand holding something in our hands, and if it hasn't already been programmed into the subconscious memory, we won't be able to see it. The eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive of. So if the mind has already conceived a piece of card with an energy and a message, then it knows that's a card, an oracle card. And so, if we are bringing this level of uniqueness, Aquarian, future thinking kind of world do I want to live in and leave, then what we're bringing through might be very difficult to translate. And so we might become, there's a whole question about teaching. Why do you want to go to teaching? If you're a pioneer, why do you want to go to teaching? Yeah, I know, in the 3D, because I can teach others. But again, have they asked you? That's the question. Have they asked you to be taught, or are you imposing something upon them? So having an ability to communicate that which is coming out of your pioneer self is going to be playtime. You're going to mess it up before you get it right. And the intellect will want to come in because the intellect is hardwired to understand and define. I don't even know what this is. Maybe that's the message from the teacher part then. I don't even know what this is. I'm going to speak this as it comes through, and I don't even know what this is because I'm that. Yeah. And feel free to speak to any of these cards in the comments below. I've really enjoyed reading your comments. And somebody commented on the weather. And I know there is a unnaturally significant weather system moving across the Americas. And in my research for the New Year video, the Mercury retrograde video, there was a connection to manipulated weather systems. I didn't want to bring that whole field in, so I filtered it out, but thank you for speaking into that. You're right. You're right. All right, let's go to, okay, I'm not going to ask questions. Cards are already coming out. What do you want to speak to? Yeah. Right. Underlying energy. TikTok. Okay, the energy is different with this today. It's like the alarm's going to go, oh, it's that kind of energy. 30, highly creative number. Highly creative. This might literally be a bolt out of the blue. An idea that the intellect might want to come in and say, that's unachievable. Where the hell are you going to start with that? Let all of that go. This is, I can barely hold this energy. My energy field is, my molecules are jiggling with this energy. Oh, what do I do? So it might be a massive download that comes in really, really quick and burns your brain to bejesus. If you can only capture 20 words, 5 words, 1 word, capture what you can and be gentle with it. You're already enough. Remember, you're already enough. Capture what you can. Yeah, I think this is what's coming in. This is what's coming in. February, March, April, this is feeling very like. Let's move those over there. Time to go. I love this. Wow. Yep. Yep. I create my own destiny. Remember, I create my own karma. I make my own dharma. I create my own destiny. There's no sitting around and waiting here. This is feeling like a distinct change from January. Stay centered and stay balanced. when all around you might be falling down. Find your center and keep going to it again and again and again and again. So that's where you're going to create from. Oh, bring on some yang energy. It's so watery at the moment. All right, that's it. I don't know what I'm going to call this. Okay, let's finish with an abundance card. You know, I love you and leave you. What's the final message, please? Message. That's what I wanted to speak to. Thank you. So I've had a number of emails over the Christmas break. Thank you. Thank you for making contact, sending me words, sharing your experiences. Obviously, I can't speak to your personal experience, and I wouldn't, but I read all of your messages. I want you to know that I may not always reply, but I read all of your messages and they all touch me in very different ways, just so that you've reached out. So thank you, and never take it personally if I don't write back to you, okay? Thank you. Okay, final message, please. I'm being asked, do I not want to pull from another deck? So bear in mind. Final message, please. Okay. Two final messages. Getting back to integrity. Okay, poised. Back to center, back to center, back to, oh, where did I go? Oh, my mind is all over the place. Come back to center. But what if I forget? And what if I lose it? You won't. Come back to center. You're already enough. Your wings are already open. The mind is searching. Come back to center. Because once you've built that compass, so you become your own gatekeeper, then you can check yourself. Is that the student teacher? You can become the teacher to yourself and the student of your soul. Balance, balance, balance. And radical curiosity of a child. First breath. Really are going into a new something, and I don't know yet. What's your first breath going to be? I'm going to leave you with my love as always. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, help the channel grow. And I will be back with you all again soon. Much love.